Well, I'm in my closet again, which means it's recording time again. And today it's all about that second Q&A thing I set up last week, which weirdly enough not that many people asked as many questions compared to the last time, but they all asked multiple questions in their comments. So thank you everyone for doing that. But enough stalling. Let's get to answering some questions.
Now that you've been there for 3 whole years, what kind of new content, if any, would you be looking into creating?
I mean, I definitely would like to still keep writing and drawing, but I've also wanted to get into music a bit. Only problem is that, I don't really have that much experience apart from like listening to it and singing a lot my whole life. And other than that, I don't know too much about like real actual songwriting. And anytime I look back at the stuff I wrote when I was little, I just cringe. So I guess unless I start really teaching myself how to do that or just learning from someone else, I might just stick to more of the same and maybe see if I can try doing more storyboards and maybe even full on animations if I'm lucky and have the money or at the very least tools to do so. I don't know. I do think more crafty stuff, as in like, I guess fashion-ish or figurine things and maybe even, I don't know, actual Lego stuff would be fun to do. I guess it just comes down to the right ideas and what I think can work best.
Would you still want to meet the Unikitty VAs or no?
Yes! I know it sounds selfish, but it's true. These are people I've looked up to and dreamed of working with my whole life. What am I supposed to do? Just not keep wishing I could do that?
Ever heard of a game called Friday Night Funkin'?
I mean, it's kind of hard to not know what Friday Night Funkin' is by now, but I have friends who are into the games. I've done some wiki searching and some YouTube watching. I might actually play the game for myself one day, who knows?
College shit.
I'm actually just finishing up my second semester at my local community college, and it's all been online, so I absolutely hate it, and I I'm just really confused as to what step I want to take if I can really just get a degree on what I would want and really love to do most, and just the question of how necessary even is college to get there by now. It's very confusing, but I've been trying to work through it.
Favorite video game?
I've been a Nintendo fangirl for pretty much my whole life, and even now, despite the company doing shady stuff and dumb decisions a bit more often, I'm still hyped for the next Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters and playing Mario Kart games whenever I find myself just playing video games again, because I don't play them as much as I used to, but I still do it. In fact, I don't think most of the background music I use would be Nintendo and Pokemon if I wasn't always playing those games when I was little, but other than that, I'm into stuff like Sonic, Cuphead, Five Nights at Freddy's, Undertale and Deltarune, Doki Doki Literature Club. Oh, and I was obsessed with Skylanders until maybe around Trap Team. I'm gonna answer that outdoor games question too anyway, though, and pool games are the best kinds of games.
Did you know that I love you? No homo.
Child, this is a no homo household. It's no Romo around here, okay? Got it? Now get out. Just kidding.
Have you ever had that Chinese toy phone that says, "Hey, I'm your little butterfly" as a kid?
No, I did not, but I did listen to the song a lot when I was little because, well, the internet exists and it was the mid to late 2000s.
Do you like any other fandoms other than Unikitty and TMNT?
Oh, yes. I think most notably right now would be Craig of the Creek and Hell of a Boston Has Been Hotel, which I have made content for on this channel. It just hasn't gotten as many views, which, I mean, I'm fine with, but at the same time, I guess it would be nice if they got more attention. But, like, I understand that most of you are here because you're into Unikitty as much as me, which is great. It's just, I would like to keep branching out a bit. I'm still making Unikitty content, of course. Just saying.
Also, when is the title day coming?
I don't know if you mean the title shop or free title day, but both of those are out of my control. Girly Glorious is in charge of the title stuff, so whatever she says goes. Those questions are for her. But that free title day we did back in December was, I think, the only one we did throughout all of 2020, so our next one might not be for a while. I'm not too sure though.
If you had to switch places with one of your OCs, who would it be?
That's a pretty good question. Considering that most of them are fan kids, I think it would be kind of weird to consider having to call some of them dad or mom. So I guess for the sake of not making things too weird, I would say either the Fish Queen, because having a kingdom all to myself would just be cool, and but other than her, I guess Forest, mainly because she was kind of the most like me as a little kid, but also because I kind of ended up basing Eagleator and Mina's relationship on my own parents. So yeah.
Have you ever thought about leaving the Unikitty fandom? If so, why?
I actually never really have. That's just how much I've loved this show for so long and always wanted to keep making content based on it.
Who can you most relate to in Unikitty?
I just really always vibed with Unikitty's positive energy and attitude, but it's like the worse she got in season 2 and the older I get, the more I start relating to Brock. Just, it's like he's me mixed with a real life friend I have who almost instantly I got reminded of when I first saw Brock and Stuck Together.
Is Throne of Doom still going on, or is the story done already?
I made a whole video about that. Please watch it if you haven't. And I did talk about how I revamped it at the end and like was working on that, but that didn't even last for a month. So R.I.P. Frown of Doom. You helped me get really far. I'm gonna miss you.
It's been a while since I last replied. How you've been doing since then? What have been working on now?
I've been working on a few videos besides this one, as well as some fan fictions that need long overdue updates and new chapters, and just other things that I either have wanted to do for a long time or just whatever pops into my head and I suddenly get the energy to do. It's a spontaneous, chaotic process, especially since quarantine has just completely messed up my motivation and sleep schedule and all of that stuff. And I've been hoping to get back on track, but that's just my entire goal for the past year with not too much success. But every time I pull through and get something done, that makes it feel all the better.
Are you a part of the LGBTQ plus community or just an ally?
I am in fact part of the community. I'm aromantic and asexual, meaning I have not ever experienced romantic and or sexual attraction in my life. I don't want to. I'm perfectly fine being single and shipping everyone else around me. As a matter of fact, it's something that I've wanted to make a video about for a long time, and June is next month, so if I have a script and storyboards ready in enough time, then chances are you might actually get to see it.
What's your favorite episode of Unikitty?
That would be not one but 2 episodes, which are the finale. I can't help myself.
What's something about you that you may think is odd or different than other people?
The funny thing about this question is that I found out that I'm autistic when I was 16, and it made me look back on stuff that I have always done throughout my life and just be like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. This explains a lot. But it also makes me wonder about neurotypical people. Do normal people think this way about certain things? If this hyperfixation and all these other traits are just so common in autistic people and just other types of neurodivergent people, then, I mean, normal people can get obsessed over stuff, sure, but like, what kind of extent is it? How do they keep eye contact for so long? How do they do all these things that seem so difficult? And like, how do they do the stuff that just seemed so normal to me for so long? It's something to really think about, you know?
What was it like in the early days of the official Unikitty, Amino?
Okay, so when I first joined the Unikitty Amino, there were on average like 30 to 40 people online at a given time. There were definitely lots of active chat rooms and people posting cool art and even the occasional fic. Now, some of these people are, of course, long gone, and while their accounts might still be up and you can look through them, other people have deleted their stuff, and it makes me sad that they do because, moral of the story, save stuff if you can, because you never know when it might be gone and you'll miss it. There was a lot more uniform positivity, if you will, but this was long before we got the whole Unikitty is 11 crisis going on, and there was some occasional drama, but I wouldn't say it was anything too bad until a certain leader got banned anyway, and then tried to keep coming back again and again and again. But I would still say that the Unikitty Amino is probably one of the best communities on the app just for the fact that the staff always had done a good job taking care of groomers, unlike most of the apps, sadly. Like, just look up Amino on YouTube or anywhere really, and the first results will all be about how people were groomed or bullied or something else that's just terrible. Sometimes it even makes me feel ashamed for still having the app, but this community has given me a place to grow and develop in ways I never really could have without it. So, if the app as a whole has taught me one thing, it's that you can find the brightest lights even in the darkest places.
Has Zboy ever played with Puppycorn or at least hanged out perhaps?
I mean, Zboy's still the more cautious one, but it would be like hanging out with Meadow on steroids.
Are you going make more Unikitty Okoro?
I definitely don't intend to stop my New World stuff anytime soon. But other than that, unless an idea really sticks with me and I want to go with it, then I'm sticking with just that.
Does Zboy have siblings?
That answer kind of depends, because if you mean like just birth siblings, then no, he's an only child in that regard. Which I know sounds kind of weird because fish have like a lot of eggs or babies at a time. Depends on the species, but let's just say that the Fish King has fertility issues. I'm sure that most of you watching already know about Stevie and Davy by now, though, so technically, no, Zboy is not an only child. Anymore, anyway.
Do you like boy, girl, dog, cat, mouse, cheese show?
I have heard of the show. I know it has a bit of a fandom. One of my friends is in it, but I haven't really checked it out yet. I probably should.
Are you planning to try the voice acting? Which characters are the ones you can do?
That's something I've always wanted to try out. Only problem, I guess, is I haven't had any real experience unless you count mimicking stuff you've watched for as long as you can remember. And the time I actually kind of tried doing that with Tumblr posts, but that was all before mid 2018 when, to keep a long painful story short, I got really sick and have thankfully recovered, but kind of set me back in certain ways that I wish it didn't. So when it comes to singing and I guess voice acting too, um, it'll take a lot to really get me back to the potential I had before, if I had any to begin with.
On the Jimmy, do you like dark or pastel colors on the characters?
Both color schemes are pretty great, but I'm gonna have to go with pastel.
How did you get into the fandom?
It's not that eventful, considering I just made a storyboard, looked the show up on Tumblr a few times, started interacting with people I thought were cool, and then made my own first AU, and that just really started cementing my place in the fandom.
Which season of Unikitty do you like the most?
This is kind of a weird question to me because, like I said in my reviews, as far as like the energy and just overall quality goes, season one could get pretty great, but it didn't reach the same stuff that the later seasons would go on to do, but they would still kind of make some of the same mistakes and then do it even worse, so it's kind of hard to say. I guess season two, because, I mean, all three seasons have kind of the same highs, but, like, even if season two's lows were, well, the lowest, it didn't have the same issues as season three did when it came to stuff like adding in random things nobody asked for. it was a bit more straightforward with what it wanted to be and wanted to give the fans, I guess. Uh, I mean, any season can be appreciated for what it's worth, though, so.
What do you think of the new fact about the episodes of the show that were gone?
If you're talking about, like, the Groundhog State thing from Zach Keller's LinkedIn, then yeah, I really would have liked to know if we were gonna get an episode about Master Frown reliving the same day over and over. That would have been insane. Korean Angle's definitely not gonna give us any answers, and Zach Keller hasn't said anything about it as far as I'm aware, but the answers are out there somewhere. Maybe not out there as in public, but like someone's gotta tell us, please. We need to know.
And the last one, did you love it to be a part of the community?
I think this is the perfect question to end us off with because I would not trade it for the world. So, thanks for watching. Hope you learned a bit more about me, and goodbye, I guess.